What's going on, all you gamers? Today we're back with a little bit more Evil Dead the game. What I'm going to be going over today is a tier list, kind of my favourite characters and how I think they rank. So if you want to know what the best characters in the game are and which ones may be a bit niche or to kind of avoid, then stay tuned. That's coming up next. Welcome back, all you guys and girls. As always, all things gaming, all things Xbox. Then why not hit that subscribe and bell icon? I'll bring you all the latest and greatest content, hints, tips, guides and builds, and just some fun gameplay and reviews of upcoming games. But for today we're here to look at Evil Dead the game and to see where the survivors rank and which ones stand out from the others. Now I wanted to make sure I'd got quite a few to 25 and played with them all in order to test their builds out and know exactly what's going on, and this is how I think they kind of shape up. So going over the leaders first, and the first one we're going to be looking at will be this one right here, and that's going to be Ash Williams, Ash versus the Evil Dead. Now he is just he's kind of an all-rounder. He pretty much excels in any team, and he's just a great leader to have. Absolutely perfect if you're playing in any team, because he just brings a lot of buffs, and he works well with pretty much any team composition. Now, although this guy I think probably doesn't have one of the strongest abilities where he does a little explosion damaging their kind of balance bar, very similar to Ash from Army of Darkness, but obviously this one's on a cooldown of 30 seconds. It's okay, it's not really why you're going to pick him, but it does help you to get those executes and just to knock down their balance bars from time to time. The main reason you're going to pick this guy, however, is because he has an aura effect of 10% damage. When he's maxed out, it raises up to 20% damage, and that's for himself and the whole team, meaning that any team you're in is going to do 20% damage extra no matter what they are. Range, melee, it doesn't matter, he's going to provide that buff at all times, so a little bit different to the other leader units who have to activate something and then it goes on cooldown. Also, because this guy can grab a chainsaw, it means he's going to still do a fair chunk of damage and can break their bars pretty darn fast. So if you're after a guy that you want to be able to do a lot of executes with and you want to dish out a fair amount of damage as well as being able to buff the team, then this may well be the leader for you. Like I said, he can go into pretty much any team. Because of that, we're going to be chucking him straight up here into the Groovy slot. Next up, and we've got this lady right here, and that's Annie Nolby. Now, Annie Nolby is 100% the best buffer in the game for your kind of ranged units. If you have a hunter and if you want it to make every single thing in the game fall over without needing to even have much effort, this is the buff unit you want for that. She's an amazing leader for your ranged units. When she's maxed out, she's able to use her ability, which lasts for 15 seconds. It will provide 100% extra range damage to everyone in the team, including herself. She also has 10% as standard, which you're all going to kind of have up at all times, and when she's very late game and is maxed out at level 25, she's also going to have a very significant thing about herself, which is the fact that she provides a lot of balance bar damage to herself and the team. This is significant and can mean everyone goes into their finishers very quick. She is a great unit to have in pretty much any team, but if you've got a good hunter in your team, I'd say she's one of the strongest things in the game currently, just from her being able to make pretty much anything fall over with 1 to 2 shots. One of the best characters currently in the game, I believe, so with that I'll be chucking her up into the top slot, and that's Hail to the King, baby. Next up, and we've got Arthur. Now, Lord Arthur is obviously the last character you can unlock, and he is absolutely amazing when he's buffing melee units. This guy and an Ash Army of Darkness is a sight to behold. He's going to buff your team with its light attacks, its heavy attacks, and he's going to have an aura about himself that he can activate called the Lord's Wrath, which is going to give extra melee damage. This is going to mean that your melee units are able to go into their finishers almost constant, because they're going to take off enough health. They've just got to make sure that they've got enough balance bar damage in order to go straight into it. Even if they haven't, you're going to have enough damage to 1 or 2 swing and knock everything over anyway. This guy with 2 warriors is just ridiculous, and I've seen everything get either stun locked or just completely fall over from the swings of swords. He does a lot of damage himself, however he's not perfect. The reason for that is that he's very squishy, a little bit more so than I was hoping, because most times you try to play him like a warrior, meaning if you're in the thick of things, he can fall over quite fast. I want this guy to be top tier, I want him to be Hail to the King baby, but at the moment, even with some of the builds I've created, I couldn't quite make him that top tier. He is still absolutely amazing though, and in the right team with a nice healer is definitely well worth having. But for the moment, like I said, if he does get focused too hard by the enemies, he can definitely struggle in a lot of team setups. Because of that, I'm going to have to put him in Groovy. Next up, and we have the man himself, Ash Williams from Army of Darkness. This guy is, bar none, in my books, I would say the best warrior in the game by quite some margin. His first ability, which is Wise Man's Potion, gives 30% extra damage increase, 50% damage reduction, it restores some of his health with just about 250, so it's not ridiculous, but it is significant, and it also provides 30 fear reduction. It is the whole package. It also lasts for 30 seconds, and then I believe it's on a 60-second cooldown if I remember correctly. But overall, it's just a ridiculous buff to have that he can pop whenever those bosses or really tough kind of situations are occurring. Also, his second perk is Shield Blast. Each time your shield loses a bar, it's going to trigger an explosion, which is going to damage your enemies. This knocks their balance bar down ridiculously, meaning you can almost definitely go straight into a finisher, and most times you're going to get your shield back, ready to do it again. Because of his Finish Strong perk, which means you get a little bit of shield back every time you're doing a finisher that kind of executes. Also, if you want to focus on his chainsaw, he does extra damage with that. Faster attack speed, increased health, balance bar and dismemberment damage. This guy is just an absolute beast. I still find he's best with a sword if you can manage to get hold of it, but if you find a tasty chainsaw drop in, again this guy will still be ridiculous and you'll be able to do a lot of fast combos. Overall, I'd say the strongest character in the game currently, so with that he's going to be chucked straight up to the top, Hail to the King baby. For our next warrior, and we have Scotty. Scotty can do a significant amount of damage. He has a lot in his kit, especially his last unlock. If you can grab yourself a lumberjack axe, he's gonna do some insane damage very easy and knock units down fast. He's also able to do a little bit of collateral damage with one of his perks, where he gives 13% extra damage to the enemies he hits in a 3 meter radius. He's also got a little bit in his kit that reduces a bit of fear every time he's getting a kill, but most times I've found that when you were getting feared or when you were trying to get possessed, it was mainly when you were out of combat anyway with him. Overall, Scotty is a solid DPS. He does a lot of damage, he does exactly what it says on the tin for a warrior, and he's going to do some nice basic ad kills and clear the enemies very fast. However, he doesn't have anything exceptional in his kit that doesn't really bring anything amazing to the team, and I think there are better warriors out there. Because of that, I'm going to have to bop him straight down here in your shoelace so I'm done. Our last warrior, the big Scottish man himself, Henry the Red. If you are after a tanky unit, if you're after someone who has a lot of health, a lot of shields, and just survives because they're just an absolute beast, this is the guy for you. He's got a really good kit, but some of it seems a little bit tacked on. For example, his rebound one reflects a percentage of damage you receive back onto your attacker. It says 30%, but ultimately it's not really that noticeable. It's kind of a nice little added extra, but I wouldn't say it's anything amazing. He does get 10% extra health and shield bar than anyone else though, meaning like I said, he's an absolute tank. The main reason you'll want this guy though is for his ability that you can use every 60 seconds, and that's unstoppable. You're going to activate this, it's going to mean that you are completely 100% invincible for 7 seconds. Perfect for those fights when you need to take out someone who's been possessed, perfect if a boss has spawned, and perfect if you just need to do pickups. So make sure you kind of hold on to it for the right situation. This guy is a tank like no other, and absolutely amazing just because of this invincible move. Because of that, he's going to be chucked up here into the Groovy slot. Jumping over to our first hunter, and we're going to be looking at Ash from Evil Dead 2. Now this guy's ability is Exorcist. He's going to be able to kick out kind of your demon from whatever he's possessing. As long as it's a basic unit or if it's one of your team, he will kick it straight out. If however it's not and it's an elite or it's a boss unit, he's only going to take off a little bit of infernal energy. It's still an amazing thing to have and can really save the day in the right circumstances. It's got a cooldown of 60 seconds, but is one of the better abilities in the game. However, with something I'll get to later, it kind of negates that a little bit. Another thing he can do is see through kind of walls and such in order to grab treasure chests a little bit faster, which is really helpful, especially if you're in a good team and you're going around marking as you go. He also starts with a double barrel shotgun, so you're going to do quite a nice bit of damage from the start, because he's also got the weapon mastery for it, meaning he shoots faster and does a bit more damage and a little bit more dismemberment and balance bar damage. Now this guy I'm probably going to put different to a lot of other people. I would want to put him in Groovy, I really would want to chuck him up into these top 2 tiers, but because of his ability, the fact that he can kick out Possessed, I find that he's focused on very often by the demon. They know that he's going to be speccing into range, so he's going to do a lot of damage to his team. Also, he's got that, so they're the guy that he possesses or tries to fear as much as possible. You have to build around fear with this character, and you have to be knowing exactly what you're doing, otherwise you're going to wipe your team and you're always going to be the guy getting possessed. It can get quite frustrating. So for that fact, at the moment, unfortunately, I'm going to have to put him to this right here, the 3rd column down. But in the right circumstances, he can definitely jump up the ranks. Now up next, and the one that almost everyone else will disagree with me about and will probably be clicking off my video after this, it's going to be Ed Getley. Everyone hates Ed. It's just kind of a thing I've seen. I don't know why, but no one really likes him. He's kind of a meme character as such. But when you get him late game, when you get him to 25, when you're in a team with him, most times he can be quite game changing, and that's because of his overall kit. So his first one is it's a trap. It lasts for 40 seconds. When you click the ability, it means you're going to have a unique flashlight that disarms all of the demon's traps. They won't get any fear, their level's not going to go up. You can really make sure that they don't go up faster or gain hardly anything, because you're going to be disarming everything as you go. Also, he's got an enduring light, increases the battery life of your flashlight. This is nice, nothing special, it doesn't really mean much in most matches, but you are going to be able to run a lot and it's not going to be quite as dark. But he does do extra damage with his crossbow, with weapon mastery. That again factors in that he can do a lot of headshot damage, so still brings exactly what he's supposed to do as a hunter, taking out those elites and knocking down those boss units. But last but definitely not least, the reason why I'm going to put him somewhere where probably no one else has, and that's for his last perk, the Collector. Increases the chance that defeated enemies will drop items and improves the chance of finding crates of higher rarity. This guy can find more legendary items and purple items per match than anyone else in the game. Because of that, you're going to get more pink stuff. Because of that, you're going to be able to get your builds on faster. Because of that, you can either rush faster or just have a crazy damage build going on with your team, and he works out really well. Up until 25, he's still very good because he disarms traps. At 25, he can be game changing. If you're lucky and you're able to find a few legendary chests, you can definitely make sure that it's almost a guaranteed win most times. Doesn't happen every time, but happens a lot more often than not when you've got him. And because of that, he's going to be chucked straight up here to the Groovy slot. For our next hunter, and we have Kelly Maxwell. Absolute beast. She is going to bring nothing to the team with helpfulness, except for the fact that she has crazy, ridiculous damage, and she's one of the most agile out of all of the hunters. Her first ability is going to be Slipshot. When you activate that, she's going to do a lot more bleed damage. I believe it's about 20% for what her range is. It's going to last for 5 seconds, and she's going to be able to dodge as much as you want during that duration. It's actually ridiculous how much extra damage you get with this, and the fact that you can perma-dodge for 5 seconds can really help you out on those bosses, getting into the situation, taking the shots and getting out of there quickly. She also has a built-in bit of kit where she does more melee damage while she's in combat. I believe it's around 2% each second, meaning that her melee damage goes up even though you don't need to factor it in. Also again, with Cancer Shot, your next range attack after a successful dodge inflicts bleeding damage on your target for a short time. This girl is the overall package, and if you kind of probably combo her with an Annie and such, you're going to be knocking everything down before they even know what's happened. I'm going to chuck her in Groovy at the moment because she does have a very high skill threshold, I find, and if you haven't got a healer or anything like that, you're going to be struggling. but with the right team and with the right player using her, you can get upwards of 100k and she'd probably bop straight up to the top spot. For our last hunter, and we've got Amanda Fisher. Amanda Fisher is a bit of a unique character. They really want you to use a handgun with her, but a lot of times in this game you're going to be trying to steer clear of that a little bit and pick up the higher damage headshot ones. Ones like the boomsticks and such just seem to clear ads faster. But if you were going with a handgun, this would be the girl you definitely pick, because she does 2% extra damage for every shot that connects. And her main ability, Ammo for Days, has a 7-second duration where you can fire as much as you want and it's not going to consume ammo. She also has the weapon mastery of pistol, meaning she can dish out quite a lot of damage with it, so again, if you like pistols, she'll be the girl for you. Unfortunately, I found that even though on paper she sounded like she was absolutely amazing, I didn't like her as much as most of the other hunters. It may be down to my playstyle, I'm not sure, but I found that she was outclassed by a lot of the other hunters. Kelly pretty much works better with her with close range, with long range, and tended to do more damage because Amanda's cooldown is 90 seconds on Ammo for Days. If it was shorter, maybe it would be slightly different, and the other two hunters bring a lot more to the team than she does. Because of that, she's going to be chucked down into your shoelace are undone. Jumping over to the supports, and we've got Ash from Evil Dead 1. This guy, due to the fact that he's just had a nerf, his actual health that he regens on heavy hits is now only 25. Also, you can't animation cancel anymore, meaning that he doesn't regenerate anywhere near as much as he used to. He is able to reduce a bit of fear, which is really nice, but I believe he's also the only Ash that can't grab a chainsaw, which again is a bit of a minus. His last two perks, which are Mark Target, where he'll shoot a target's head and anyone that shoots it again will get extra damage, and exactly the same for the healing, will get extra healing if they're shooting at the headshots, means that if you were playing in a very hunter orientated team, he could work. But to me, he's the most niche character now, definitely after the nerf, and just doesn't bring anywhere near as much as he should do. Because of that, I think we're going to chuck him down to this very bottom rank, right down here in the lower rungs of Yeah, Truly Amazing. If you're wondering why it's Yeah, Truly Amazing, that's from one of the films, and is said in a bit of a sarcastic way. For our next support, and we go straight over to Cheryl Williams. This woman has, again, like our last one, they're trying to nerf a bit of healing. Her healing has gone down, unfortunately. Before, her healing touch skill would heal 80 a second, over 6 seconds with a cooldown of 90 seconds. Now it's 120 seconds and only heals for 60, so she has had quite a big decrease to her healing, but still, as the designated healer in the game, is almost definitely one of the most top picked and one of the most needed in pretty much any team composition. She's going to be the one that gives you your heals, she's going to be the one that makes sure you don't fall over, she's going to be the one that gives you your shields. She's definitely not going to bring the most damage to the team, but if you're in a team that's already got a nice bit of damage, this woman is always going to be welcomed. Perfect in any team build, and unless they nerf her again, I would still say she's very much in a top spot in this placement, so along with two others, she's going to be up here in Hail to the King Baby. Last up, and we have Pablo. This fella is another support, but slightly different. He's got a very strange kit to him. They've kind of made him so that he doesn't get seen by the demon, so a lot of times with a random team and such, you'll find him just randomly bop in a car and try to collect everything on his own, and then just completely fall over in the middle of nowhere. So it can definitely work out against you if you have a bad one of these on your team. If you have a good one, however, you can have shields for days because he creates an amulet every 2 minutes. Not a useless support, as he also has inbuilt camouflage where demons are no longer able to detect you using their demon vision. Also, because he's able to regenerate a little bit of shield bar himself until it kicks into that once, until it kicks up to 1, it means a lot of times he's kind of got a little added overshield. By no means is he as bad as Ash 1 at the moment, but I also don't think he's anywhere near in the same league as Cheryl. Because of this, I would chuck him at the moment into this lot just here. Your shoelaces are undone with these characters next to him. Right, you gamers, hopefully that's helped a few of you guys and girls out. Let me know in the comments what you think. There will bound to be quite a few different opinions. No doubt a few people will probably put in some comments somewhere about the Ed choice, but honestly, after playing a lot with people and putting quite a lot of points in myself, I would say this is where I'd rank them currently. As always, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, take care. I'll see you all next day.